Hey everyone, Eric Watson here, freelance writer, player of games, writer of words, recorder of videos, and tabletop role-playing aficionado. Welcome to this Monday after the Super Bowl, where we talk about all the ways in which the 49ers could have improved on their special teams play. Now, this is the crafting stream, the Monday edition of my bi-weekly behind-the-scenes DM-only live stream series, which I build right and prepare for our next session of Call from the Deep. Is Sylvan on here? Sylvan, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was rooting for him. If you're playing characters Gottwald, Max Sabra, or Twirl, this video is not meant for you, and there will be lots of spoilers. We stream our D&D sessions live on YouTube every Friday. You can join our official Discord server with invite link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel, please check out patreon.com/RogueWatson. For our campaign, we use Roll20. For streaming, I use OBS Studio. Exciting times. We are officially talking about Act 2 for Call from the Deep. We are cruising along this campaign. Session, it's confusing because our Baldur's Gate 3 series is around the same number. I think we just did 18 for Call from the Deep. And I mentioned, I think on my Patreon stream video that we're on track right now with the same pacing of Storm King's Thunder. You have to go all the way back to Storm King's Thunder in 2017, which is on the channel, to actually see us leveling up as quickly as we are doing right now in this campaign. Because in my last two campaigns, we leveled up relatively slowly, and those were very long campaigns, especially in Tomb. Holy crap. And then in Chris's longer campaign, it was a tier 3 to 4 campaign, so the pacing was kind of crazy in that one. So I think we're doing a good job on that, and the players will be reaching level 6. And now we're in kind of the open world section of our campaign. However, I'm pretty confident which way the players will go first. So I didn't even necessarily make them choose a path. I gave them 3 quests last session. Pirate Skyhold, the Sahuagin Stronghold, and the Styes. A lot of S's in there. And they technically have the choice to go do any of those quests. But I think once they start doing the fact-finding, the investigation period of these quests, which is going to be coming up this Friday, next session, there's a 99% chance they'll be doing the Pirate Skyhold quest, because it literally takes place basically in Neverwinter, just in that little Earth moat that is actually in the Neverwinter section. In terms of the other locations, the Sahuagin Stronghold, that's the final enemy, by the way. We'll be running the final enemy. Probably going to put it just somewhere off the coast of like where the Mayor of Dead Men is, which I think is where Neverwinter Nights 2 starts, now that I think about it. It wasn't a swamp, right? Close to Neverwinter? I think it was. Just some little island off there, so I could make a little marker for that. So they'll probably do that one next as their big quest chain. And then the Styes, I think we can put that a lot further down. I haven't quite decided where the Styes is going to be. If anybody has some suggestions. The book, unfortunately, says put it like near Cormyr or something, so it's not actually on the Sword Coast, which, I mean, good for them for moving away from the Sword Coast, but this is very much a Sword Coast adventure, so I'll need to put it somewhere, probably in either Mintarn, although I don't know if there's actually a big enough city in Mintarn. I guess I could put it on the Sword Coast, one of these kind of others. Actually, no, I already put it somewhere, didn't I? I put it in Orlumbor. Yeah, I put it in Orlumbor. That's right. Okay. I was like, I already made that choice. Yeah, I put it in Orlumbor. Oh, I was just looking at that. Like, I give you one of these. Yeah, it's that one. Okay. And I realized because I was going to use Orlumbor for something else, and I thought, well, maybe I can actually combine those events with the dragon approaching and telling about the zombie dragon and everything, and then Orlumbor still being the Styes. I could try to make that happen. So I think that'll be a good fit. So that one will be, so in other words, because of the distance I'm putting the open world adventures at, I can kind of anticipate which ones the players are going to do next, and it'll drag them further and further away from Neverwinter to the point where hopefully by the time they're doing the Styes, maybe they've picked up some other little side questy things here along the southern region, which is more closer to like off the coast of Baldur's Gate, south of Waterdeep. Waterdeep. I think I said Baldur's Gate and Waterdeep. I don't know. Definitely not. Baldur's Gate would be a great porn name, though. Man. Write that one down. Baldur's Gate. Waterdeep is already a pretty good porn name, I think. And they'll be in this general area, and then the final leg is the Tentrix Floating Isles will be down in the Nelenthar. So really they'll be going south, 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 south. And then at the very end, we're going to have to do the most pain in the ass montage all the way up back north because that's where actually the finale takes place. But maybe they'll get a chance to stop off in Neverwinter and be able to do some, shopping and meeting of NPCs again before the big hurrah. That wouldn't be a bad move. But I just realized I'm moving them further and further south, and then they're suddenly going to have to jaunt all the way up north. And of course, we'll do, various sea locations along the way. Of course, there's humanoid-sized sphincters. I didn't know who went until the evening news today. Oh, man. I thought it was fine. It was a fine game. I mean, it was a very defensive battle, so it was kind of boring for the first half, honestly, but I kind of expected that also. So, I named this Pirate Skyhold because that's where I think the player's going to go, because if you look at Neverwinter map, which is a gorgeous map, I think this is the Mike Schley map that you can find, the Earth mode is up here, in this corner, on this map already. That's where they have to go. Now, the first step in the quest line will be, and yes, I realize I kind of spoiled things by calling it Pirate Skyhold, but whatever, I don't care. The first step will be to figure out where the undead pirates came from. I was going to use Sandbalay, but Sandbalay is technically not in Neverwinter. He's in Saltmarsh, which is a little bit further away, but it's literally just like going to the next town over or something. So hopefully they can just run down there, and I don't obviously plan on having any maps or encounters or anything. There's no point in that. Just let them stop in, chat with Sandbalay, get my really ridiculous French accent on, and Sandbalay will know all about these ghost pirates. So he's a big, I don't know, fan, or he's got some information, some contacts, whatever he's got, he'll be able to quickly figure out the information they need, which is basically the legend behind this Earth moat and the fact that a black dragon now rules over it. Captain Black Dagger was a sky pirate originally who ruled over a good chunk of the Sword Coast and tried to hunt down this black dragon in his hubris, and then flew back to his sky fortress, and the Black Dragon came back and basically killed everyone inside, and supposedly still layers there now, which would be a great, I think, hook for an adventure location, right? They're like, oh shit, so we have to go to this floating rock in the sky, this island, and we know ahead of time there's a fucking Black Dragon there. I think that's awesome. So I definitely plan on giving them all that information up front. And then I think last crafting, we talked about, well, how can we get the players to the Earth moat? Because they're of a level where they're stronger, but they don't really have the means of getting around. But they're right next to a major city. Now, the city is on its back foot, having just been attacked, and it was already still recovering from a cataclysm from decades ago. A very slow rebuilding process. A lot of bureaucratic red tape involved. So we had the fun idea of maybe the hot air balloon, which I still haven't found a map for that. I need to find that. Because I just think that's a great idea. It's more fun and more interesting than, hippogriffs or something, which was my initial idea. And I think it makes the encounter situation a lot more interesting, because if you're on a mounted hippogriff, I think you're very limited in what you can do with the players, because it kind of forces them to all into dogfighting things, versus if they're on a hot air balloon situation, now you've got them trapped in a very, remote area, and then suddenly that gives a chance for like your archers and your spellcasters to shine, and poor Gottwald's like, I don't know what to do, maybe I can jump on one of these big guys or something crazy, so which I'm sure he'll do. And of course I plan on attacking them while they're in this hot air balloon. I don't know if I can find a good map. In fact, let's just see if we can go to the marketplace. Balloon! Let's see what we can find. Well, that's true. We could just use a different kind of airship, I guess, because isn't that what a hot air balloon is? It's just a very specific kind of airship. Maybe I should search airship then, because balloon is not actually coming up with what I need it to. A Zeppelin would work, some kind of a blimp. This isn't like Eberron, though, so I don't want to get too crazy with it, right? I'm picturing somebody with one of those balloon packs, like an air elemental trapped in there, but capable of, just bigger, right? Bigger than like a normal one would be. Let's look up airship. could look up my favorite artist because I'm not seeing his work on here. Gabriel Picard. Let's see. I like just, it's handy. Everybody's got different art styles. It's handy using same art style. Oh, that's right. This Aberration Skyships. I literally use that for the mutant whale. All right, he's got one. You want the AI airship, the Ack Inc. one? Maybe I do. I don't remember that one. Is it in the book? Yeah, see, this is way too big. It's a cute map. I want a very, very small... See, these all have, like, wings, though. That's not going to work. I want a literal balloon. I guess you could just do something like this and just, like... I mean, the balloon's not going to be visible anyway from a top-down map. But that's still humongous. I want it to be very, very small and not look like an octopus or squid. What is going on here? Do they have any of these that are... Yeah, see, that looks way too fancy. I mean, the other option is we don't get an airship and we literally just draw... use something like this for a map. And then just put like a fucking box around it and say, "There's your airship," you know, like a. I guess I'm literally picturing like an old school, like, I don't know. I want to say Jules Verne, but I don't know if they ever did a hot air balloon adventure. But like the stereotypical small square thing. I mean, I guess a little bit bigger, so you can have a operator and then all the party be able to fit on there. So I figure they can hire this person, this eccentric. I love the idea of using, what is his name? Spellix Romwad, I think, is what was thrown around last time. That I had mentioned if somebody had an idea for an NPC that we could use, and that one was thrown around, and I think I like that idea a lot. So I'm trying to figure out what other, decent inventor type character we would have. The only other one would be Edmund for a player character, but I don't quite see him being in a hot air balloon situation. And also, I worry about... I like dropping the player characters in, but like if Edmund were here, like why wouldn't he have helped like with the defense of the... I need to be careful about where I use everybody. So I think having the Goblin NPC would be pretty great. And of course, it's gonna be branded genocider and all that great stuff. It's like, oh, I just came down from Icewind Dale with this invention and everything. Would be really fun. That'll be also part of their like fact find. So really, we may spend a long time just trying to get information. I mean, they'll still learn like where the Sawagan one is. The only one they've been given the location of, I believe, is the Styes, and they just, once they look at a map, they'll be like, oh yeah, that's way the fuck down there. Whereas the other two, they'll be following their quest chain a little bit until they figure out where the locations are, and then for this one, they can get on this balloon and travel up to this area. And I believe I made this map fairly accurate when it comes to distance. Uh-oh, what's going on with Roll20? Connection's been interrupted. There we go. So that this should actually be pretty accurate right here. About 300 feet across, which is not very big. Maybe 300 by 200? 220 or so. And I am thrilled to report that one of my favorite map makers, Seafoot Games, which is on Patreon, literally today, because I've been scouring for what I can use for the Pirate Skyhold, because my ideas have changed a lot in the last few weeks in terms of what I want to do for this quest line. I always liked the Pirate Skyhold that Call from the Deep was offering, but it was only like a few paragraphs of information. I thought this is a great adventuring location if we can turn it into an adventure location. I just think it's a really cool idea. It's a flying island, a floating island, I guess, that's like half swamp with kind of a pirate retreat on it. It's like a pirate town situation, and then like a stronghold, and then a dragon came in and took over. He's got the undead pirate minions now that he controls, and there's also a tribe of lizard folk out there that are like cursed and worship full of the Black Dragon. That right there is like a whole dungeon location, with the one twist that I want to make the Black Dragon actually a social scene versus a like a big boss fight. I think that would be a fabulous twist, and I'm really excited to pull that off with the players still being able to fight their way to the Black Dragon and feel like it's still like cool dungeon crawl. But that means I had to come up with maps for all these situations, because floating islands and stuff or in swamps and all these are very specific map needs. Well, today, one of my favorite artists for maps literally came out with a map that was like called like Swamp Village Fortress. And I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. And it is amazing, this map, which, by the way, I think there's a version of this that is available for free. I'll zoom out so you can see it in its glory. I have, of course, started fucking it up so I can turn it into a sky map, as you can see here. I will post the free. Tell me if this link works. This should post to the free version. Now, the version I'm using is technically not the free version, I think, because I think mine is the ruined version. So the free version looks like it's all like campfires and everything's, the village is all nice and set up and, you know, normal, I guess. And then if you're a Patreon subscriber to Seafoot Games, then you get all their variant versions of their maps. And this is one of the variants that I'm using, is actually the ruined version of the map, which features the kind of docks all broken and you know, fires out and all that kind of things. I figure that's more appropriate for it. I'm actually going to turn that dynamic lighting off while I work with it too. And then what I've done is, oh, and by the way, look at the size of this thing. It's fucking perfect. Where's the size thing? So we sized it earlier, right? Flat 300 feet across. Ha ha! Look at that. Look at that. It's amazing. That's like the size. That's like the perfect size that I need to feature. So there's the floating island, because I went back and forth on like, oh, do I want to just do like small chunks of maps, but then you don't feel like it's got the proper you know, floating island thing, but then it would make such a big map. So this is what I've settled on, because it's like 90% exactly what I want. And then to turn it into a floating island, I made the map bigger around it on 3 of the sides, because I figured we can just push this other side up against a wall. And then used a sky background from Gabriel Picard's Vile Tiles Sky Isle Mapper, which is literally for building your own like floating islands and stuff. And it has this blue background, some clouds, and some cliff ridges and stuff. Now, it's probably not my best job. It's not going to be as good as probably the water in Bronzo Mine. Shout out to that crafting stream. But I don't know. I think I'm doing a pretty solid job so far. I've been kind of drawing all these cliffs everywhere and trying to make it look like it's a floating land, but also like this swamp village and stronghold thing. I did not think I would be able to get all of this on a single map. I'm still gonna have to edit the shit out of it. I'm already editing it. Again, I want to make it look like it's got those floating chunks in it. This was kind of a tricky thing, but I figured you'd at least need one that's in the middle, so you know, Mac or Gottwald can shove people off into the sky below, which is awesome. But also, I don't think the Black Dragon would just be hanging out in the top of this fortress. I feel like he would be inside of a cave somewhere. So I may actually still do an additional map after this one to do like a swampy cave. So I may need to change something in here to like stairs down, probably where this weird... by the way, I'm at 30% zoom right now. This is a gigantic map. I just showed you it was like 300 feet across. This is going to be a big one. I haven't drawn any dynamic lighting yet in case I need to move things around still, but there's a weird like giant sword on a table here, a stone table. I might replace that with stairs going down, and then we can have that be the final like layer of the Black Dragon maybe, and he's got, you know, holes in the side where he can just fly in and out. But that's awesome. Now, I am literally, well, maybe not literally building it from scratch. I mean, there are some ideas here, but there's no map, there's no like dungeon pacing at all. The only thing I have to go on is basically this one paragraph, which half of it's loot. To access the pirate's Skyhold, the characters must fly 100 feet to the Earth Moat. There they encounter Garandor the Vile and his lizard folk minions, 10 lizard folk and 4 lizard folk shamans. It doesn't actually talk about if he's got Black Dagger and his crew at his beck and call, but I imagine he would. So it'd be an interesting chance for me to reuse Black Dagger in a different context. Before, Black Dagger was fighting an Aboleth, and now we can have him fight the players, and maybe we can level him up a bit if we need to, or maybe not. I can include maybe some different kinds of undead, not so much just hordes of skeletons, but include like maybe some wights this time, while also still pacing them, you know, and also include some lizard folk out here. I don't know if it would be the lizard folk that would be out here or the undead that would be in the stronghold. I think it would, because the undead eventually died when they were holed up in the stronghold. So I think we'll do lizard first. And I think we'll try to do a creepy thing where like they show up and the lizards are kind of creepy, but maybe not immediately hostile. And then at some point when they're like halfway through the village, then like one lizard folk guy will come out and say some creepy shit and then raise a bunch of like lizard zombies and stuff. So this was the original map I had, by the way, that I was working on this. First encounter idea. Need some encounter scripts to remind the players the island is flying. Yeah, well, that's going to be like the holes in the sky and everything is absolutely going to be there for sure. And I do want to craft at least one encounter while they're in the hot air balloon. That's got some kind of swampy flying creatures. I know we mentioned sturges, which I think is a great idea. So this is I thought for a good sub-boss, is this the Lizard Folk Shaman? It might be. Lizard Folk Witch Doctor, actually. I think that might be Monster Manual Expanded, I forget, but that one's a cool looking stat block, because he's got Hold Person and Spirit Guardians. Pretty nice. And then a ranged attack, we can do Cursed Bolt and give somebody a nice little temporary debuff, a disadvantage on attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws at the end of Lizard Folks next turn. That's a pretty good little boss right there. Riding what's it called, a Lizard Reaver or something? Some kind of cool like dragony lizard basilisk type creature. And I figure you can give him some Lizard Folk minions and then also Lizard Folk zombies. So he's just a evil necromancer of a Lizard Folk who have been corrupted by Garandar, and so they've all got necromancy powers and stuff, and that's why they rule this village. I don't think there would be any connection with Savra, because we're not racist and not all lizard folk know each other. But I do want to try to make something happen with Savra's culture, if I can, if she's up to it, with perhaps obviously the Sahuagin Stronghold quest line, because they kicked out lizard folk from their home. The Sahuagin did. So maybe I can do something with that quest line, because the players will have to go talk to lizard folk then to get some intel about that. I know it's when you love your kobolds, but I don't think they fit here. I think we've got to use lizard folk as the minions, and the undead pirates. And I think especially a black dragon would be all about using undead. Like he would just have undead servants, and maybe we can get away with just having a bunch of the undead pirates all kind of ambling around the fortress. I want to treat him like he's just really into necromancy. So this was the old map. This is just one of the Gabriel Picard swamp maps. Still a great map. But now I'm going to not use that map and instead use this one. I just got to finish kind of building it. Could be some Savra plot hooks. Yeah. As I was mentioning, I don't know if we'll use Savra plot hooks for here, but you know, who knows? If she ends up really being into that, then we can try to make that happen. Let's see, do I still have? I do not. So I need to finish building this map out. But at the same time, I need to also get that air map on, because frankly, we probably won't even get to this island yet in this next, because we got to do a level up. We got to do, like I said, all those investigation quest chains. In Neverwinter, maybe some shopping stuff. It's kind of really the Falling Action episode. And then we'll just have started this quest line. Let's see, Vial, Tiles, Sky, Vial Mapper, right there. So I could see us not even necessarily make, and especially if we do the air encounter on the hot air balloon, I could see that being the end of the episode on Friday. There's all the different cliffs you can use. It's packed full of content. It hasn't been the easiest thing to make in terms of trying to blend, you know, these cliffs in with the walls. Hopefully with dynamic lighting, it won't look so bad, because the players won't see they just won't see as much junk as you and I see, because we see everything. And I've gotten away with using rounded edges. I'll show you the method I've got. I mean, nothing's that clever. Let's see, put you turn you around? 3 by 1. That's not too big. Yeah. All right, we blend it there, and then we take one of these small patches. That'll make your eyes go crazy seeing all this blue. And then we kind of scooch it up there. Sure, he's in front. And that should be what we want to do. There we go. So, I mean, it's a hatch job, but it's hopefully it'll work. Hopefully it'll work. We've done the top end. Yes, and Demnix, that's definitely what I plan on doing. I'm going to have this dragon, really have the hots for her, in fact. Because he's powerful. He's a bored, sexy villain. He's up in his fortress. He's lording over everything. He's just fucking bored. He kind of hired his goons out because just for the shits and giggles. And he is super excited by having a fellow necromancer in the area. I plan on that being a really fun twist that the players think they're in for a mega boss fight. They're going to prep all their shit. They're going to be like, all right, it's dragon time. Fuck. I'm trying to move this thing around. And then the fight is... Oh, shoot. That sticks out the edge. That's why that looks shitty. Shorten you. Can we do that? It's like a little growth. Oh, okay, I put it on the edge. Put that there. I care too much. Nobody can see this shit but you and me. Whoops, how'd that get thrown off? Back up there. Another small piece. I should make the cliffs first, and then I can worry about patching everything up together. Oops. Let's delete all these. Hot undead dragons in your area. Exactly. It's funny how instantly the clouds make all the difference, though. Before you're like, are we in a sea? Like, what's going on? And then you put a few clouds, and we're like, oh shit, we're up in the sky. All right, all right. I see what's going on here. It helps if I can not make it a straight line, but it's also the easiest thing for me to do, so. Oh, fucking well. Go. It's an ambitious project. Trying to do these custom areas. This is why I'd rather have maps ready to go, and yet every once in a while I do get the motivation, I guess, to come up with some more original content. Need a side, smaller one. I do like that Roll20 tends to have its just built-in canvas already. I mean, I know other VTTs obviously can do that, but I'm kind of used to their interface and everything. That one can go there, and then I need a long one. That might not work. It gets real close to the wall. Okay. We make this. Yeah, I want that one to go front. Nope, not that one. This piece. That piece in front. Can I go right there? Okay. And then this piece is going to be a little tricky. I mean, this was all... The thing is, it was all a square, right? Like most maps. And I'm like, well, the square just looks kind of distractingly like a square. In other words, I need to try to break it up in a few places where I can, namely down here, so it looks more like a damn, like, randomly floating island with bits dripping off. I picture like the islands from the Zelda game that came out last year. So many sky islands. Although I realized going all the way up against the wall was a dumbass move on my part. Let's move that one back a little bit. There we go. A bit too ambitious. See, that's not going to work. That's too curvy. Too curvy. Is that the one I want? Are you the one that I want? Shorten you a bit. It's probably good enough. Then I can lengthen you. Okay, other than that little corner down there, I think this works pretty well, and I can cover up that piece. I'm able to cover up that one too. So where is... I need another tiny piece. Is that the cloud? That's the cloud. Don't mess with the cloud. Can I drag you in a little bit? Not too far. No, I really can't. All right, let's grab a small piece, put it here. So many layers on here. I'm sure I'm just making this map go so slow. Then we can cover up that one. And then might not be able to do.
Don't forget to plan for my undead army.
Might not be. So why it's distracting me. I'm not gonna be able to actually make this cliff pier thing like I wanted to. I just realized because they all attach to ground and not to anything else. So maybe we go and cut it off here. Just no, don't grab the whole map. Jesus, don't do that, please. Okay. Ah. It's the danger of being on the map layer. I think we're gonna have to just do that. I guess. And we'll take these, might look better covering up those little pieces. You're gonna have to retract. How much do y'all spend on your maps? Be honest. How much time? Because it's probably too much. Let's put it... I need a good corner piece. Where's my corners? That one. That to work, we'd have to zoop, do that. Do that. That looks a bit more natural, though. The more I can do these kind of rounded edges, I think the better it's going to look. Show that one's up front. Right? It's not too horrible. It's a little piece right here. It's driving me fucking crazy. We gotta have that go there. Damn it. Stretch it out a little bit. The resolution. The resolution. You can't take much more, Captain. There we go. All right. All right. That's true. The undo. I keep panicking and try to. Nope, I gotta just fix it right there. All right, we do the touch ups. Do some touch-ups. All right, fuck. The corner piece. The corner piece. There we go. All right. It's looking vague because this was all just blank swamps. I was like, all right, I can cut that out. I got lazy with the here. It was just like, all right, that's just gonna be a straight island, and then up here I couldn't really figure out what to do, so I just made that more island edge. I wasn't gonna cut into the stronghold, and then presumably the other end is like up here, but I figured this will be the least used edge of the map, so I put that up against the edge of the roll 20 window. The only thing I could do is cut out more windows. It's kind of a pain, but it's not the end of the world. I can do it like I did this one, which I think looked pretty good. What I can't do is magically put like bridges over Sky, because this is technically all one layer, unless I somehow had another bridge token that I could use. But there was a missing section here, so I was like, well, I can definitely do that. So I kind of built around it, tried to put it in there, but that seems to be like the classic thing to use, right? Would be like a broken bridge over the Sky. I could have like a hole here, maybe. I don't think I would do it up here because it's all like, this would be like where the cave system is actually. So I'd probably do it more where the swampy side is. This would be a great one to do, but I could get closer if I wanted to. Maybe stretch that up there. But the other thing we still need to do is like populate it full of monsters and creatures and shit. So I don't know how much time I want to spend on just trying to squeeze this map up. And since the players are going to be arriving, I don't know how much choice to give them in terms of where they land. I figure the hot air balloon person will be the best. Whoever they're hiring will be the one driving it, so I can have the advantage of kind of putting them down somewhere. And maybe I can have some fun thing where like, oh, of course they get damaged on the way, so they have to like kind of crash land, and that person has to stay behind for repairs, and then it's wherever, you start off, which will most likely, let's get off the map layer, most likely be on this side right here where this clearing is in the swamp. Which case I realize I'm going to have to come up with a fucking hot air balloon token thing to put on the map. Shit. And then that way they're furthest away from the castle. It's still in the distance, but I'll force them to interact with this swampy village first, which again will probably be full of lizard folk. And I'll put up some more decorations and stuff. And then once they get to the castle, I think we'll switch to just doing straight up guarded by the undead pirates. And then they'll get their way to the Black Dragon in the end. So that'll be a pretty nice dungeon crawl area. And again, the twist is going to be that the Black Dragon is not going to be their boss fight. Instead, it's going to be our chummy, fun social scene. And the Black Dragon will tell them exactly what they need to know in terms of the undead ghost pirates are under his control, but they were hired out, subcontracted by a member of the Kraken Society who he snuffed out and believes lives in Neverwinter, because let's say he maybe did some research afterwards on who this person was. And it was, I'm going to make it be Ned. I think Ned is the most fantastic option to use there. It's supposed to be some person named Arbeck who's a deep scion, but I think what if Ned, after all those events that transpired, he joined up with the Kraken Society, became a deep scion, and still has just a fun kind of, I don't know, psychotic rage for the players. And then the actual boss fight will be, I didn't really have, cause my options are kind of open at that point with where Ned is. I know I once thought about using Temerat's Fate, like maybe Arbeck / Ned ran off to that module, which is the island being attacked by the undead and everything. But I thought, well, I'd just rather turn this into the dungeon crawl. And then if they've already done all this, I feel like you really can't do much else, because I'm doing so much here that doing another dungeon or area on top of that, which just feels painful. So I think what I'd rather do is just have them get the information, like, okay, here's where Ned is last seen and whereabouts, and hopefully I can give them some kind of clue that lets them go back to Neverwinter and look up Ned. And as written, he's in Fisher's Float, which is another Earth mode, but maybe I'll just be like in the dock somewhere or something. And then we can do like a fun, I don't know, warehouse chase scene. Maybe he's hanging out at some tavern or something, like still trying to blend in everything, and the players bust down the door. They see him, and they kind of we do a run through the alley or something, or we can do the fight right there in the bar, and that will be when Ned reveals himself as a Deep Scion, and then I'll have to throw some I don't know, some powerful minions in there. Although ironically, I think Ned, if I made Ned an assassin, I think that might actually be stronger than a Deep Scion now that I think about it. So maybe he'll have Deep Scion allies. Because if I want to turn, we'd have to decide what we want Ned's stat block to actually be. Because clearly Ned has leveled up, right? Yeah, a baseline assassin is CR8. That's kind of crazy, Nedites. Evil Ned rises. Powerful, although if it's by himself, he's still kind of limited. Which is why I think maybe I was going to turn him into a Deep Scion, but now that I look at it, if I turn Ned into an assassin and just have him have maybe some Deep Scion, maybe he's there at a table with some other people and they bust themselves out, turn into Deep Scions, and he's just like, I've got some new friends now. And that's going to be the actual boss fight, which I think is kind of a cool twist, hopefully. So we've got this map. We've got some ideas for encounters. I think one big lizard folk fight in here. I don't know if I want to do a bunch of small ones. I haven't quite formulated that yet. And then the undead will do a little bit of undead fighting in the stronghold, but not nearly as many, I think, as what the ghost ship actually has on it, which is like dozens of skeletons and stuff. And then we'll do the cave, which leads to the dragon, and maybe we'll do like some traps or things. I don't want to throw too much at them. A Deep Scion with assassin level. Well, yeah, if we want to, it depends on how creepy we want to get with it, right? Like how far has Ned gone into this? Is he gone full Deep Scion, or is he just an assassin right now who's like thinking about joining up and becoming Deep Scion? Meanwhile, we can throw some of these clouds on the map. Make our, ooh, that's a big ass cloud right there. It's really good is because I can put these in front and then actually partially at least tuck the clouds underneath, which I think looks a little bit better. I can't tuck them underneath this map because if I pop this map up, it fucks up everything. So I realized I can't do that, which would be the better play, but it's too late for that. Oh, that's a shine ass cloud. That is Gigundo. But what I can do is at least pop these the cliffs up, tuck them at least partially behind the cliffs. Also, it's going to be daylight, so for once it won't be a dark vision situation. Front. Yeah. Love the idea of the Ned. The Ned return. Ned's not dead. In fact, yeah, I realized I, wasn't able to find a good use for him in the whole previous section with Neverwinter Attack, but I think it was just too crazy to use any individual people there also. All right, so I'm trying to put our clouds around the area. You can pop these up to the front. Oops. And that will allow us to tuck some clouds back behind him. Yeah, and I wasn't able to find some kind of hot air balloon thing I can use. Kind of put them off the map a little bit. So maybe we'll just use some version of this sky map. With a, I don't know, we'll come up with something. Is the Earth mode high enough that clouds would be under it? Probably not, but I don't know, man. I think the clouds is what's going to add the effect. Oops. is what's going to add that visual effect. Let's put you in front and put you guys in even more front. I might be. I mean, 100 feet is only like 10 stories, right? It's honestly not even. It's not even a skyscraper. Technically, it's an apartment building. But I don't know. I think it just gives off that je ne sais quoi, and it just gives off that illusion of being high on a floating island. But yeah, 100 feet is actually not very high. In fact, the average player could probably take the falling damage, right? It's just 10d6, right? For 100 feet, if it's 1d6 per 10 feet, then it's 10d6 for 100 feet. So that's, yeah, you could fall, and at least at level 6 right now that they're going to be. Now, if they're wounded, they're screwed, but if they're near full health, yeah, it's 40 damage. They can survive that. Which is why we all know that player characters are literal superheroes, because the falling damage thing still drives me crazy. Alright, so if we wanted to do an air map, this would be the flying map. Just do a 25 by 25. Right like that. Then it gets tricky because I don't know what to use. So unfortunately, skyships didn't quite do what I wanted them to do. I guess I gotta use the airship background. It comes with built-in clouds. It's the same kind of map. Yeah, Monk. Monk is definitely, literally the superhero landing. Just don't... Because even this one is too big than I was picturing literally a very small hot air balloon. Fortunately, I don't know if we're going to get that. Maybe if I get off of Gabriel Picard stuff. Ships and Zeppelins, crashing airship battle. Yeah, see a lot of... I'm searching airship right now because I figure that's the best thing to do. Maybe if I get like the world's tiniest airship, that could work. Wasn't finding anything with hot air balloon. I still love that idea. I like the idea of attacking them with like swamp creatures that when they get, you know, close from the earth moat. Or something else. It could be anything that just would hang out at the side of a floating island. But I know Sturges would be more swampy themed. And there's a creature I was looking at. I was randomly flipping through the monster manual that looks like a giant mosquito monster. Can you guess what it is? It's in the monster manual. And I was literally flipping through stuff, and I was like, that looks like a big-ass mosquito. Airships and Zeppelins. Build your own airship. I could also just use like a very small ship. Would that look stupid? Like if I just used one of the ship packs I used before. No guesses for the mosquito monster I saw? It's in the 5e monster manual. Alright, what the hell? Why are we getting into things that are not even close to what I'm looking at? The Hindenburg. Alright, let's look up ship. Just give me a ship. Can I look up ship and balloon? Okay, okay. Elven Tower, I've used you before. Well, besides a Sturge. I mean, it's like a giant version of a Sturge looking thing. We talked about using Sturges. Basically, I was thinking like, all right, we got Sturges, we could do swarms of Sturges, or if we use like a boss version, like a queen version of a Sturge, this is a creature that looks like that. Oh, this thing comes like with weapons and shit though. That's too easy. I can't attack them when they've got like mounted turrets. That's what I was picturing though. Giant hot air balloon thing. It is a fiend, Nate, that I saw. That looks like a freaking mosquito. To give you a hint. I'm sure people listening to this in the future are like screaming it out. Airships and galleons. I don't usually spend my time browsing the Roll20 marketplace, but map add-on or map. What is it, Sylvan? I know you know. It is a demon. It's a mosquito-ass looking demon. I could use a dinghy with just a balloon attached. I'm really just going to come up with my own little, like, square-ass map, aren't I? That is disappointing. Disappointing that I found... Yes! Morgan is correct. Ding, 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 ding. Well done. It is the Chasmi? Chasmi? I don't know how to pronounce it, but... Yes. It is a demon that looks like a big-ass mosquito. I'll show you. Call him Chaz. Just throw him on here for now. Look at that thing. It's mosquito with like a mullet. I don't know why it has hair. But yeah, it's a demon it's a pretty powerful mosquito. CR6 though be perfect for like a little crazy boss fight to really start in this thing. Obviously, I can change its stat block around where it's not really summoning demons or anything. Instead, maybe it's got like Sturges. And it's, I don't know, it just looks like a mommy Sturge, right? Or daddy Sturge, I guess, with that hair. And that can be a joke like when they land. The lizard folks are like, the insects take care of most of the living. It is large, yeah. I may have to change its stat block around, though. Like, I don't know if I need to give it cold, fire, and lightning resistance. But it's got the proboscis. Reduces hit points, which is a pain in the butt. God, actually, it does a ton of fucking damage. Jesus, I just saw the secondary damage. It does 4d6 plus 2 piercing plus 7d6 necrotic. For an average of 40 damage when it hits? What? Talk about a swingy creature. It only has a +5. It only has the one attack. But if it hits you, it does 40 damage on average. That's gross. And then reduces your hit point max by an amount equal to the necrotic damage taken. So on average, you're having your maximum hit points reduced by 24. That's terrible to throw it at them like the beginning of an adventuring day. So I may have to change this around. I mainly just want to make it a big-ass Sturge kind of a thing, which doesn't Sturge also already have that? Yeah, and kind of a different idea for just kind of a aerial fight. And Monster Man Expanded actually has swarms of Sturges. I think we found that last time. Blood Drain. Does that also... Swarm to attack, swarm attacks. At the start of each swarm, lose a number of hit points equal to the swarm's blood drain attack damage due to blood loss. Which is 8d4 plus 3. That's interesting. So they don't actually... I guess they attack initially, and then they latch on, and then keep doing the damage. It does so after it drains 80 hit points of blood from the target, or the target dies. And a creature, including target, uses action to try to attack the swarm. Yeah, that could be cool. Blood drain. But a normal Sturge... Oh, it does the same thing. Okay. God, I haven't used Sturges in a long-ass time then. I completely forgot about this freaking creature. While attached, Sturge does an attack at the start of each of the Sturge's turn. The target loses 1d4 plus 3 hit points due to blood loss. I guess you still roll for that, though. Yeah, Flight of Sturges comes from its belly. I like that. We can try to come up with either using the swarm or just a bunch of individual Sturges. But I thought that'd be kind of a cool for throwing a... Maybe even do it waves. Throw a few Sturges at him at first, and then another wave. A few more Sturges, and they get closer. And then at the end, like, this thing comes out. Just really do like a wave-based encounter thing where they have no choice. They're just on rails. Literally, well, they're not literally on rails, but they're on a hot air balloon going towards our destination. There's nowhere for them to... There's no movement involved in this fight. Which hopefully makes it interesting from a tactical point of view and not a pain in the ass. But yeah, that was the creature I saw. Just the look of it, at least. Like, big-ass mosquito thing, but... I don't know if I want to use it in its full-on glory, because, well, I do kind of want to make it a fun boss fight. God, such a weird swinging creature. I mean, it could miss with all of its attacks and do nothing. It only has one hit and a +5 to hit. Or it hits somebody and does terrible, terrible things. Droning sounds, or it's from 30 feet against a DC 12. Fall unconscious for 10 minutes. That's just not fun. The creature ends up, it takes damage. Another creature takes an action to splash with holy water. Okay. But again, these are not... I'm not using the Fiend, so I'll think I'll have to change this character to make it more of a... What is a Sturge? Is a Sturge a monstrosity? Oh, it's actually a beast. Okay. So yeah, we might actually just turn them into beasts. I don't know if I want to give it the attaching blood loss thing. Maybe there's something else we can do with the attack here. But I'm going to use this thing as a baseline stat block, and then probably at least edit its attack and maybe its abilities in terms of like spawning Sturges or doing something with Sturges. Give it some kind of boss-like abilities. I feel like more... I wish... Yeah, and they just announced the book dates too, which the next Monster Manual is still a year away. But I do hope the new... like boss type monsters get more of the kind of legendary action type thing, but not legendary actions. Instead, just give them like bonus actions and reactions that they can do that involves them like moving their allies around or somehow being like, you know, commanders of minions or having special abilities that aren't necessarily tied to legendary actions. I feel like more monsters could use bonus actions or things they can do that don't eat up their limited action economy. Man, so much to talk about. We've got so much more work to do. It's going to be a lot for the next couple of weeks and months, honestly, until we get to, like... Really, this entire section we're doing is kind of new, right? We'll be doing this together, which is the Pirate Skyhold thing. It's going to be building all of this content, throwing it together, and seeing how it works for the next couple of weeks. And then once we get to... Sahuagin Stronghold and the Styes, and then we'll be using stuff from Ghosts of Saltmarsh, so it'll be a different kind of crafting thing where it's like we'll be taking stuff from book modules and changing things around and commenting on it like I do. But this one will be very unique because this will be the one probably most original content from the game that you are getting from me. I'm not going to wish you a happy birthday. It's not until fucking like September, Sylvan. Calm down. 50th though, hey, I'm turning the big 4-0 this year. So this is a big year for both of us. My goodness. All right, that is going to do it for this Monday edition of Crafting the Deep. If you enjoy the content, please do check out patreon.com/Rogue Watson. Shouts to Platinum patrons: Joe, Will, Thomas, Stan, Brandon, Genocider, Eclectic, Roleplay Roll, Christopher, Corey, Big Nut, John F., John L., Scott, Eric, Tyler, Nathan, Camp Crystal Lake, Counselor Andrew, Dell, The Reldrin, Captain Woody 79, Stephanie, Andy, Patrick, Jason, Ismail, Amit, Lumpy, Spuds, and Koi, and gold patrons: RPG Papercrafts, Pretty Boy, and Yuma, Dead Lizard Lounge, Sam, Jerome, Nathan, Bazagatorta, Scott, Rufus, Carolyn, Jerry, Thomas, and Glenn. Thank you all very much for your support. I shall be back with another crafting episode on Thursday.